Well, new video has been released of the J6er that was shot by police. Today we're going to analyze that footage and talk about some of the things that we see and some of the things that are unseen. I'm going to give you my opinion as to what those things are and the implications of them, and how I think this video highlights a much bigger problem that we have here in this country when it comes to people that are released back out after they've been subjected to incarceration. We're going to look at that, and of course, I want to hear your opinion. No matter if you agree or disagree, let me know what you think down below. Let's go and jump right in. So here's the video. I'm going to show as much as YouTube will basically allow us to show, and you can make your own judgments from there.
The reason I'm pulling yours for 70 and a 55. Any reason for going that fast today?
Sir, I was just keeping up with traffic.
Okay, fair enough. You got your license and registration on you?
Can I put it in park?
Yeah. Where you coming from today?
Church and my mom's cemetery.
Okay.
I just want to let you know that I'm a January 6th defendant.
What do you mean?
I stormed the Capitol. I'm waiting on my pardon.
Really?
Yeah, and I can't really afford to get in any trouble right now.
Okay, I understand.
Okay,
I
am driving without a license right now.
Okay, so why are you doing that then?
Well, I have to. I've been waiting for my hardship license. I just moved back from Idaho.
Okay.
And I had to move back here because my federal case.
Okay.
So I'm just in the middle of everything right now.
So with your federal case, why would you have to move back to Indiana?
Well, I had pending traffic violations, and I had to live in Indiana in order to qualify for the hardship license, but they didn't tell me that until I got my federal case, so I moved back to get my license.
And everything to you, okay? Real quick while I explain it to you. Okay, so today you're getting off with a verbal warning for the speed. However, you're a habitual traffic violator.
I know.
Which means that you are at a felony status for driving while suspended. So today you are going to come with me.
Well, I can't.
You're going to have to, okay? You're going to come with me today, all right?
No, I can't go to jail for this, sir.
You're going to have to come.
Can I get a ride?
No.
Are you sure? I'll violate my...
Just listen to me, okay? Number one, it's a felony offense. There's no leeway with felonies in the state of Indiana. Now, maybe if it was a misdemeanor offense, I could work something out with you, but it's not a misdemeanor. It's a felony offense, okay? So that's why I can't work with you today with it, okay? I understand your circumstances, but you understand that you can't drive, okay? So your driving has resulted into this situation, okay? Now, what I'm going to do, all right, is I'm going to put your information right here for a sec. I want you to turn around and put your hands on it. Don't you do it, buddy. No.
So let me just go ahead and say, I don't blame the police officer at all. He saw the threat level went way up when Matthew Huddle, who is the guy seen in the video that was driving, when he went to go reach for the gun, whether he says he's going to off himself or not, the sight of a gun, right, means the police officer doesn't know which way this is going to go. And so I don't blame him. I don't think there was anything necessarily wrong that he did. Now, the whole felony driving without a license, Matt has had a history, I guess, of doing that. When I think about criminals, right, actual criminals that should be in prison, do I think about people that are driving without licenses? No. Right? So do I necessarily agree that it should go to that extent? No. But has this guy established a pattern of that? Well, yeah, according to police. Now, the other thing I think this shows is that Matt did not want to have some kind of shootout with police. I think if that was the case, as soon as he was pulled over, or if as soon as the officer got his info and walked back to his car, then maybe he would have done something like that. I think he was waiting to see the outcome, and you could tell in his expression when he's like, hey, I'm going to give you a warning for this. He's like, oh, thank you, dude. And then, of course, it kind of goes downhill from there when he says that he's got to go with them. Now, there's a couple things that he mentions. I'm waiting on a hardship license. I've been pardoned, of course, but I'm still waiting on that license, and I can't get in any trouble because it will violate the terms of that pardon. Now, if you're speeding, you know you don't have a good license. Probably not the best move, especially if there's an established pattern of you driving on suspension or without a license. But this plays into one of the bigger issues that I see here that I will talk about here in a minute. Now, if you think you know everything there is to know about January 6th, all I'm going to tell you is you're probably not going to get the whole story if you just look at one news site, one video, one news organization, right? You hear one take on how January 6th played out, or if you just watch one video, you will not get the whole story. There's a video I found of Capitol Police throwing like stingers into the crowd. I mean, and riling the crowd up, right? It's not just people on January 6th. There were some dumb people on January 6th that did some dumb things on both sides. There were some instigators on both sides. So I encourage you to look more into it. If you have one belief, I encourage you to look for things that will support the other argument, because you can almost find them. There is blame on both sides, and it is not, the majority of the blame, I don't think, is on people involved with January 6th. For instance, Matt Huddle, he was on Capitol grounds for 16 minutes, I think, and there's like felony convictions going all over the place, right? When you compare that to convictions of the George Floyd riots, you're talking about, like, I looked it up, it was said 120 people out of 17,000 arrests. That's not even close to the amount of people that were arrested and convicted on January 6th. There was a clear political motivation there to make sure that the Department of Justice and everything that could be used against these people was, including their living conditions. The DC jail that a lot of these guys were in, they talk about rats, they talk about unclean conditions, food, solitary confinement, like 22, 23 hours a day. There are a few criminals out there. There's a few crimes that people commit out there that I think are so heinous that they should do like solitary confinement, that kind of stuff. But for the majority, I would say, of people, you're basically making them go insane. I work from home now, right? And so it is an absolute pleasure when the kids get home or the wife gets home, you know, and being able to communicate, because that's one of the biggest things that I miss throughout the day. I couldn't imagine, and that's just one day, that's just 10 hours. I couldn't imagine day after day after day after day of solitary confinement. Now, this isn't just about people on January 6th, though. This is about other people that are incarcerated. No matter what color you are, you should not be subjected to these types of conditions unless you are the worst of the worst type of criminals. In that case, I don't feel that bad. But like I said, for the majority of people that are in jail or prison, I just can't see how that is justified. And you could tell in his face how broken this dude is, at least in my opinion. From what I see, it looks like a dude that has been through hell, and he would rather off himself than go back to prison. So I think those conditions need to be looked at across prisons and jails in the United States. Taxpayer dollars end up paying a lot of money for these people, and at the end of the day, if you are looking at prison, if your view is prison or jail, is obviously a way to pay for your crimes, but also as a form of rehabilitation to get them out into the world to then be a productive member of society. It does not line up if you're treating them this poorly, like a lot of the people on January 6th and others in prison have been. The other thing I think this highlights, you put them in solitary confinement, you expose them to these kind of conditions, and then you say, you know, even with a pardon, you know, you say, all right, go back in the world, make sure you're productive. Some people can shake it off, right? Their mental capacity is strong. They're like, hey, whatever, I'm good. But for a lot of people that get out, they're like, okay, what do I do, right? I don't have all my rights restored. I have this thing lingering over my head, again, for the majority of them, where I can't get a job, can't vote, can't buy a gun, and then you're dealing with potential mental issues after you get out because of solitary confinement and conditions that you've been exposed to. It's no wonder that a lot of them end up going back. We set them up for failure. We don't give them resources to help them out. Again, I believe in helping Americans, right? If they pay the time, pay the crime with their time, you want them to go back out and actually be productive. We do not set them up for success when it comes to that. And that can be highlighted, in my opinion, by this entire video. It's a sad situation all the way around. And unfortunately, this is what a lot of people that were pardoned on January 6th and others have to deal with on a daily basis. There you go. There's my opinion, but I'd love to hear yours. No matter what it is, leave it down below if you like what I do. Consider subscribing. See you in the next one, and as always, hold them down.